All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Above the Line live stream on a Thursday. Not Friday this time. We had to switch things up because of the truck race tomorrow night, but very glad you could join us if you can. I'm going to have some of the Above the Line crew on in a few minutes, as well as Rob Branding joining the chat tonight as well, having a bit of a roundtable discussion, if you will, and hopefully you guys are willing to join in on the conversation. So glad you all are here. Topics for discussion for today, if you guys want to bring anything else up, totally fine, but this is just kind of NASCAR news recently, what I'm thinking we can bring up. Denny Hamlin, the appeal loss, we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the, not throwback schemes, but the 600 schemes that we have coming up. So it's summer hits, summer misses. We'll talk about those, absolutely. Let's see what else we're going to talk about today. What else? If you guys have any suggestions, like I said, let me know. All-Star picks, obviously. The All-Star race coming up this weekend. And then maybe talking about some NASCAR drafts. I know that's been a little bit in the conversation on Twitter, at least today. So we might talk a little bit about that, who we would have in our NASCAR drafts and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, well, I might bring in the guys. Don't know if they're ready. They're ready? Okay, they're all... Well, we'll bring Dom in. We'll bring Dom in. So I don't know if you guys have met Dom yet, but this is Dom Joseph, member of Above the Line. Hello. No other way to start a chat.
Was that a proper introduction?
I love that. I love that. Tell us about yourself, Dom. For those who don't know you already, just let everybody know who you are.
Well, I'm reporting live from my car because I'm getting ready to go in for a little bit of work. I'm the sports editor for the Griffin Daily News in Griffin, Georgia. It's about give or take 40 minutes south of Atlanta, 10 minutes away from the Speedway. So
nice.
For people that follow NASCAR, it's right down the street from the Speedway, on the same road, actually. So, yeah, Griffin High School's spring football game is today, so I'm getting ready for that. Going to go take some pictures and write up a story on it. So that's a little bit about me, but I've been around for a while on Above the Yellow Line and enjoy every second of it because Taylor keeps me in line. And
oh gosh,
again, I don't have a better background for you because I'm reporting at the scene. So if you hear a loudspeaker in the background, it's the PA for the game because I'm right by the stadium. So I may not be on the whole stream because I got to go get some pictures, but I'll give you as much as I can.
Dom is a hard worker. Very glad to have him on the stream finally. Is this your first one on the Toby Christie channel?
It might be.
Maybe?
I don't know. It's been.
Is that possible?
I couldn't even tell you the last one I did. It was either the paint. I don't think it was the paint scheme one. I think I did one after that.
Oh.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah, that might have been the last one. There's an inside joke with that one. Just watch it on the Above the Yellow Line YouTube channel. You'll see it all. But let's see. Let's bring in another member of the Above the Yellow Line crew. Adam, you ready? All right, he's good. Adam, my guy, what's up?
Good evening, my fellow racing nerds. How are we today?
Good. So for those who don't know you, I think you joined a live stream on the Toby Christie channel before, but for those who don't know you, a brief synopsis about who Adam Lucas is.
Adam Lucas, born 1993, great state of South Carolina, Palmetto Pride, yee, big old NASCAR fan since 1998, lifelong Jeff Gordon fan. My work life is boring. I worked in football for about 10 years, then got out of it. Now I'm working in the public education system. So that's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. So bringing lots of different concepts from the football world to the classroom is kind of my forte. So that's the fun, quick spark notes of one Adam Lucas.
I enjoyed the spark notes. Also, we need more educators out there that are good like you. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Also, hello everybody in the chat. I see you. I'm very glad you were able to join. So thanks for doing that. Let's see. So we've introduced Dom. Adam, gotta introduce Rob. Rob, are you ready? All right, Rob's ready. Let's add in Rob Branning. Rob Branning, if you don't know, I'll let him introduce a little bit about himself, but I love to brag about this. He made our logo for Above the Yellow Line that I love so dearly. So Rob, though, a little bit more about yourself. You were on a stream for the Toby Christie channel before, but you have the floor to introduce yourself a little bit more.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Rob. I'm a graphic designer and photographer based in Boston, and I do a lot of work with like New England racing. I work with a company called JDV Productions that basically promotes NASCAR Wheelie Modified Tour races, and we have our first race this weekend at Lee USA Speedway. That's a
I love
mouthful.
It's
So
all a mouthful.
yeah, so and I also work with the Granite State Pro Stock Series, which is a local racing series up in New Hampshire. The race is super late models.
Nice. Y'all are so important with all your important stuff. That's so exciting. Hi, everybody in the chat. What's up? All right. So, that being said, you know everybody now. You know the above the line crew. Now let's start getting into our conversation for today. I don't know where you guys want to start off with. I think maybe, oh, do we want to talk about like the 600 schemes that we've seen so far? Because there's only a few, but they're just like, you know what I mean?
How about this? I
Go
got
ahead.
one.
Oh, yeah, go for
it. This is kind of more of a breaking news that just came across a few hours ago. The Jordan car that Kurt Busch won, it has been offered to the public.
You better believe I pre-ordered mine. Did you guys pre-order your diecast of it? Yes or no?
I just
bought a ticket to Atlanta. I can't afford any diecasts.
Broke. Absolutely broke. Dom, are you done with diecast?
I have not yet.
I bought a ticket to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Ooh. So you guys might meet there. Dom's going to Atlanta as well.
I need a buddy. Because I'm going down there by myself.
I might see you there. We'll see.
Right, keep me in touch.
If you guys don't know already, too, for the 600 weekend, I will be there. If you guys are going to be there, I'll have to meet up. But also, Dom and Adam will be there, and we'll try to do a live. We're going to do a live stream together in person. This is the first time we'll be meeting in person, which will be super cool. So yeah, you two will meet at Atlanta maybe, but hopefully, at least Dom and Adam and I will be meeting at Charlotte. But yeah, breaking news. Yeah, if you guys, let me know if you guys have ordered your diecast in the comments below, because I have. I threw some change out there. But that's exciting that they figured out a deal. I wasn't sure that was going to actually happen. I don't know, but yeah, you know what? Let's just talk about Denny Hamlin real quick. So we know the appeal that happened. It was denied with the wheel incident that he had a few weeks ago. So the appeal that ended up happening is, instead of just being out, a crew chief and 2 crew members being out for just like 4 races, like it would be like the All-Star race and then the 3 races after that. They're doing it like All-Star race, like non-points paying race, and then 4 points paying races after that. Do I have that correct?
I think so.
You think so? I made it sound super confusing. I know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm believing it.
But in other words, the penalty, people are saying it's a little stricter than it should be. I'm going to try to find Bob Pockrass's tweet here just so I can put it up on the screen, just so I make sure, 1, I'm quoting myself correctly. But 2, I guess just to start off the conversation, Dom, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Do you think the tire penalty is too harsh?
For the current circumstances, yes. And it's because everybody's still learning the new tire. Goodyear's still learning the new tire. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. You've got only 1 lug, not 5. So, I mean, there's only 1. You should get the job done the first try. So for it to come off is inexcusable. I get that at the beginning of the year when they didn't have all of these races under their belt to see the mistakes that could happen. I get them being so harsh and saying, it's only 1 lug. Get it on and get the car back on the track. If it comes off, that's inexcusable. So I get it, but yeah, it's, in my opinion, just too harsh.
Let's see. Anyone, do we agree, disagree? Rob, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Sorry, that's my fault for drinking seltzer water during this. Yeah. I wish I knew more about the technical side of NASCAR. One, it would help me out a lot knowing what's going on with my guys, but yeah, it seems like it seems so harsh to penalize these guys for, just making simple mistakes with a new car. And it's like, when you suspend them for, X amount of time, all you're doing is making it worse on them to, develop whatever they're doing.
And then let's see, Adam, are we agreeing as well? Because
Yes. And I'll be brief with mine because honestly, I think a 4-race suspension for a tire coming off, that's extremely excessive. Perhaps a 1-race ban would be maybe more acceptable, but then like looking at it from other forms of motorsports, a loose wheel happens quite a bit, and the penalties are not as severe as what NASCAR is putting down. So like I think 4 is way too much.
Is it that harsh of a penalty in the Xfinity series with 5 lugs, or is it just that in the Cup series? Okay.
Yeah, I think the Cup series is harsher. I don't know if it's because we've seen more damage done with the tires. I mean, this is the tweet from Bob Pockrass. I hope it's on your screen. It's on your screen.
Yes, yeah.
Basically, I think I actually explained this correctly the first time. I just explained it horribly, so I apologize in the first place. But he said, appeals panel upholds the suspension to the JGR 11 team and modifies the 4-race suspension to the next 4 points races. So they are all good for the All-Star race. So this is where I might have messed up a little bit. But then they're going to miss Charlotte, Gateway, Sonoma, and Nashville, which Gateway, new track, so that's going to be a little difficult to not have your crew chief and 2 crew members at. So I do think it is fair, though, that they are not having them miss the All-Star race, because at that point, it's kind of like everyone else has to pay the penalty for 4 points paying races. But I think the appeal should have been made sooner. So that's just me, but I do think the penalty is harsh. Maybe a 2-race suspension, but I agree with all you guys. As we're learning this new tire and we seem to just not have the single lug nut together, it's a little too harsh in my opinion. And then speaking of that, I guess we talked about this on this week's episode of Above the Yellow Line already, but the dilemma at 23XI Racing, kind of talking about the parity between celebrating Kurt Busch's win, but also the significant struggle that Bubba Wallace's crew is having. I'll throw this question to 2 of you. Let's see, Adam, what do you think about Bubba Wallace's crew? Should there be a change? If so, what changes need to be made? Or what else can they do with that team to improve their performance?
Being halfway through the regular season, it's time to make some changes. It's got to happen. They keep stubbing, tripping over their own feet. It's quite embarrassing. You have one team within 23XI that is, it seems like they have their stuff together when it comes to little things like that. Just a little fine tuning. It's not anything completely drastic. It's going to completely shake the entire team up, but just the finer things, maybe 1 person, 2 person, maybe just shuffling a little bit. I think that would be beneficial to helping the 23 car compete for in the top 5 and maybe have an outside shot at getting a win. Just to see them be competitive inside the top 5 instead of knocking on the top 10 and then stubbing over their feet. So just little things here and there.
Because that's the thing. We've seen them race inside that top 5, seen them race inside the top 10, and then something happens. Usually it just feels like around the end of stage 2 or like stage 3 where they just lose it all, which is so frustrating. And then I wanted to clarify too, you guys were asking in the comments if the Kurt Busch diecast is available on the NASCAR store. I know Lionel Racing is having it on their website. That's where I got my at least pre-order from. I can check for you guys if the NASCAR website has it real quick. While I do that, I want to throw this question to Rob. What do you think about 23XI Racing, Bubba Wallace?
Yeah, they need to make a change. Like 100%, because I have seen as a Bubba Wallace and 23XI fan, I am so sick of seeing Bubba run like top 10, last week top 5, and then his team screw. The only thing I was thinking of during Kansas, and this is just me being cynical, is I was like, when he got back into the top 10, I was like, I hope he doesn't thank his team. I hope he doesn't thank his team and just say it was all me. I made this top 10 happen in spite of you guys, which, like, and I get that it's, find one of my favorite drivers that doesn't have pit problems, because I'm a Blaney fan too. So so it's basically like I only root for guys that'll just hurt me. Yeah, something needs to change. I think Booty is who needs to be on the pit box. So I don't think it's a crew chief change. But I think something has to be done. Whether they swap guys from Kurt's team, but I don't know what I don't know what a depth chart looks like for pit crew guys. I don't know if they have like second or third strings or not.
My thing is, I don't know. I don't think they should swap on Kurt's team because they seem to have it down. I wouldn't want to take any piece off of that team. Would be my thought process on it. But they do need to make a change. I don't know if they need to bring other people in from another team, maybe an Xfinity team that they're aligned with, or like, hey, this guy's pretty good. Let's move him up to Cup. Or if they're just bringing someone else outside in, or maybe they just switch roles around, try out something new and see if someone's really good at that. I don't really know.
I gotta imagine that like TRD has some sort of pit crew development.
They should.
Program where there are guys that they can kind of swap in, almost like a farm system, I guess.
I will say, just kind of to segue this into another topic, I believe that TRD announced a statement, or somebody did at TRD, basically just like saying losing Kyle Busch would be a crime, essentially. Like we can't let those negotiations fall through. So that leaves me having hope. Just kind of a hypothetical though, because I personally don't see Kyle Busch I want to say he's going to have an early retirement, but if he doesn't go back to Joe Gibbs Racing, where would he go? I think, Dom, you tend to pick Kyle Busch essentially almost every week in our race picks. But from insight from you though on the Kyle Busch situation, do you see what sponsors do you see maybe hopping on? I think they hired somebody that used to work with Chevys for their sponsorship on to help Kyle Busch's team, something I just read as well. But what do you think they need to do? What do you think is going to happen with the Kyle Busch situation?
Well, I will say this will be my last question because I do have to go. But
gotcha.
And also, if I cut in and out, it's because the signal's a little jittery here. But I will say I got the question.
Cool.
It's tough with sponsors because I mean it's just so. I had no idea that Ally was going to come on for Jimmy Johnson until the very end of 2018. So I mean, you just don't know until it happens. But I don't know. I mean, Interstate Batteries has been with Joe Gibbs Racing since 1992 when they started.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they amp up to a full year partnership, a full season. Or a majority season, because nobody does full seasons anymore.
Adam says no way.
Yeah, it would definitely be a partial season.
No doubt. It's hard to say with that, but I will say that basically to dissect what the higher up at TRD was saying is we cannot let the Oilers trading Wayne Gretzky happen again. It's like this is our greatest asset to our team, and we're going to let him walk. Are you out of your mind? And I mean, look at the Xfinity series and look at the Truck series and ARCA. When a Gibbs car doesn't have sponsorship, TRD, Toyota come on board to sponsor the race car. So I feel like if Kyle stays with Joe Gibbs Racing, you may see some races where it's just Toyota's logo on the car. They will do whatever it takes to keep Kyle in the 18 car. And if it all falls through, where would he go? I mean, the immediate answer would be Stuart Haas,
right?
And the number 10. But again, there's just so many different variables to go with that. And then to go back to the Bubba Wallace statement with why he was struggling compared to Kurt. I know it's a 2-car team, so they should be a lot tighter, but my original thought is look at teams of the past. My first thought is when you think of the mid-2000s, Hendrick Motorsports was the king, but a lot of people don't even know Casey Mears drove for Hendrick. He was one of those guys on Hendrick. He just wasn't as good as Johnson and Gordon. So sometimes one guy and one crew are a lot better than the other in the same team. But that's basically all I have to say about that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the stream.
Thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate it. Bye, Dom.
Goodbye, everybody. I'll remember you all in therapy.
Fantastic.
This is why we
Great
love
episode.
Dom. We love him. All right. So I think we're going to backtrack this a little bit just because the comments I'm seeing a little bit more about the tire issue. MW Roner, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. For the tire system, I believe this is what it's about. They said I would say they should do a level system. If this is a first offense, fine them. If this is a second, third offense within, say, a month span, 1 to 3 race suspension for offense should cost points. They also said, part 2 to this, maybe 15 points plus suspension, 15 points plus the suspension. What do you guys think of that idea? Let's see. Rob, do you have a sense of how you feel about this idea?
I get it. I definitely get it. Again, I am not in any position to be, dealing out what type of penalties should be done.
I will say, on Above the Line all the time, we say 2 things. We are not mechanics. We are also not professionals. We are just fans. So it is totally fine.
I get the points penalty. I 100% agree with the points penalty. I'm just not sure in the first year of 1 lug nuts that we should be doing suspensions, because again, it dramatically slows down the learning process when you don't have these guys in. It's like, I don't know, if I take a test and I fail, they don't suspend me for the day we rehash that topic. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of the same thing to suspend them while they're still learning. Like if this was next year or like 2020, I was almost about to say 2023, and then I remembered 2023 is next year. Oh my god. Yeah, I know, right? But if it's like in the next year or the year after or beyond, then I get the suspension thing. But I still think I think a multi-race suspension is a lot. It's a lot. We didn't even have that for we don't have that for encumbered wins. You know what I mean? Thank God we haven't had one yet this year. Yeah. But because I don't like that either.
We haven't even had this harsh of a penalty like in the past, even with the 4 lug nuts. I mean, it's a little bit more unforgivable when you have when you have all the lug nuts and they're not, and then your wheel falls off, because that's like you have so many chances.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a safety thing. Also, I know my face is like this. It's because my first battery is dead.
You're good.
Give me 2 seconds.
You're good. I will say now you are full screen, and also I saw you were wearing the merch. Your merch.
Yes, I am wearing the merch.
But Adam, you were going to mention something about this too. What were you going to talk about?
It's too. I don't like that system. I just think they need to overhaul it completely. It needs to be. Let's just do points, I guess. If you have a loose wheel or the wheel comes off, you're docked 25 points. Especially for the lower teams, that gives them more incentive to get the nut on right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just all around. It's too harsh of a penalty to begin with, and then trying to piecemeal it with what is that? How many steps is that? Like a 4-step process. That's just adding more to the insanity that is our beloved sport.
Yes, there's a lot. As we know, a lot has changed with this Gen 7 car. A lot of rules, a lot of everything. And I understand the strictness because they want the teams to get this right the first time, but nobody gets something right the first time. If you are learning how to do something, you're going to have to ask for maybe hearing the instruction again, or you're going to have to look at a worksheet or something. Like, it's just not fair to put these teams under that pressure, especially if they are not top tier teams that can pay the fine, that can afford to lose a crew chief in. It's just not fair. So we'll drop the subject for now. I know we've been talking about it for a little bit. Let's go. Well, hold on. Let me make sure I'm seeing the comments. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're caught up on the comments. First off, Rob, I got to talk about your merch just for a second, because it's fantastic. I just bought my pins. I bought 3. I think I got a Daniel Suarez one, a Ross Chastain one, and a Ryan Blaney pin from you, I think. And then I also got a little backpack with my logo on it that you also made. So just shout out there. If you guys haven't checked out his Redbubble store, check it out. Buy his merch. It's super cool. So there's that. Oh, okay. Here we got a question. Would you prefer race penalties for those kind of scenarios pass through to the rear? Like, so kind of like those type of significant penalties if you had like a pit road penalty with like a speeding penalty, kind of stuff like that. I think that's what you're meaning. Maybe.
If you wanna keep it harsh, hold them for a lap.
Yeah.
Because depending on where you are, that's gonna ruin your day.
I think losing a lap is worse than getting it suspended.
Exactly.
For a race. So yeah, I mean that derails your entire day. You could be a top 5 car. Oh, loose wheel. Okay, holding you for a lap. Well,
exactly.
Okay, let's play the makeup game.
Still, the concept of losing a lap for just a simple mistake when you're supposed to be fast during this.
Yes.
It's still ridiculous to me, but like.
It makes better sense.
Because when you lose a crew chief and 2 crew members after the fact, it's kind of like you're not learning the lesson in the moment, which you need to learn the lesson in the moment. So this, even if you want to do like almost like a tier system as well as like a harsh penalty, like let's say you lose a tire, obviously you're going to lose laps already because you have to go to pit road and all this stuff. But if that's that big of an issue for NASCAR right now, hold them for like 2 laps or 3 laps. That's going to suck. But that's an in the moment thing where you're forced to go back, put the tire on tight, and you make it right, and you learn that sting in the moment. That you should not do that again. I think that's a good. I'm very glad I got this right. So I got confirmation that we answered the question correctly, which is very good. Let's move on to another topic, though. Let's see. You guys want to talk about the All-Star race? Let's talk about the All-Star race.
So I gotta pull that up. I pulled up the rules because I didn't know the rules.
The rules, I will say.
Hey, Rob, nobody knows the rules.
Nobody knows the rules. It's whose line is it anyway?
I was about to say the same thing, Taylor. I was about to say the same thing.
I love that show. I love the original one with Drew Carey though, just because it's just it's that unfiltered humor.
Have you seen that there's like hour-long compilations of it on YouTube?
Guess who's watched them all? Me.
Me too. I watched the sidebar, but I watched 2 hour-long compilations of Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
Oh my gosh!
I watched like 2 hour-long compilations of them last night while I was working, and I'm like, this is fantastic.
Didn't you post things about the Muppets on Twitter last night? And I was like, "What is this?"
Like I always post about the Muppets. I really do like the Muppets.
I love
it was the Lego set. Where they
oh my gosh
got like the blind bag and they all had Beaker, and I was like, "This is so funny."
It's fantastic. All right, well, folks, let's see. Someone asked if we can have a one-on-1 in the NASCAR All-Star Race rules. I explained it in my latest episode of Above the Line, but we can briefly go through it again. We'll kind of go on a step-by-step basis because we're going to I want to give our predictions. If you guys have any predictions for this. But basically qualify or practice it at first. The first round of guys that are going to practice, I believe, are those who are already in the All-Star Race. It's a 15 to 20-minute practice session. That's just how it goes. Second session is the guys who are not in the All-Star Race yet, which are guys who have not won a race in the 2022-2021 season. They are also guys who are not past championship winners or guys who are not past All-Star Race winners who are full-time drivers. So if you're not one of those guys, you are in the All-Star Open trying to race your way in. So you'll do that practice session in the second practice 2 for our 15 to 20 minutes. Then we go into qualifying for our main guys. Which let me try to remember that. Okay, so we do qualifying. It's single lap cars, and it goes in order of owners' points, team points, owners' points. It's reverse order of that. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to try to find it. So then you'll go in. The guys who have the fastest, the 8 guys that have the fastest time in qualifying will then go on to do like a head-to-head type of pit stop challenge to get the pole position. It will kind of be bracketed against each other. 2 drivers are going to face off against the fastest pit time for 4-tire stop. Then you have to leave pit road without speeding. If you're the fastest off pit road, your team wins and you move on to the next part in that bracket until there's 2 guys left. Whoever's the fastest out of that wins the pole. So let's break that down first. I know that was a lot, but do we like this addition of that kind of pit stop criteria in qualifying for the All-Star Race? Rob, you are shaking your head.
I don't see why they changed it from what it used to be. Literally just like, what is it, 2 or 3 laps in the middle, just do a pit stop. It's too overly complicated. Like, listen to us. We are 3 people that follow this sport religiously.
Yep.
And we
Yes.
and we we're confused as to what's going on. So imagine, you're bringing in new fans, and like, especially because I feel like a lot of new fans are coming in this year, and like All-Star, look, the All-Star game for any sport is pointless, but
Yeah.
there are ways that they've made it fun, and it's a lot of it is like the side things, and I think we put a lot of weight on the fact that there's $1 million on the line, so everything has to lead
Yeah.
up to the race. But I mean, I'm thinking back to like the late 2000s when I started watching, and it was so simple. I'm pretty sure they still had qualifying, I think, but they had the pit crew challenge that Thursday night, which was always a blast to watch.
Beautiful time.
It was even better to be there. Good memories.
That's
Good
Wait,
memories.
You went, right? You actually
Yes.
went, Adam.
I always would get free tickets. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
not fair. Oh my gosh. I was
It was
gonna ask you, Adam, especially because I mean, when you've been there, because remember we did talk about this before. But kind of comparing the format now to what we had back then, do you think NASCAR actually needs to change things up? And also, I should mention this real quick. Denny Hamlin actually made a statement, kind of not answering the question, but kind of answering the question. He's just like, we put so much emphasis on the $1 million, kind of, Rob, what you were hinting at. And he was like, we just need to change that format. I don't know why we keep doing that. But Adam, based on what we used to see with the All-Star format versus now, what are you thinking? How do you like it? Just what would you change?
I haven't enjoyed an all-star race since probably 2010. I'll be honest with you. Maybe the last one was the Bristol pandemic special.
I
But
know I watched it, but I can't remember anything that happened during. I
The-
remember
the
Chase
cool-
Elliott won, but that's it. And
the
and
coolest-
the numbers.
yeah, that was probably the coolest thing was the cool funky diecast that came out of it.
Yeah, they had the underglow that was wildly disappointing.
Yeah, and the underglow was flaming hot garbage. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, cool
But no,
concept.
in all honesty, I have not enjoyed an all-star race since probably 2010. So I think we need to go back to the basics when it comes to the format and the pomp and circumstance. No one really wants to race for $1 million. That's more like racing for $10 these days.
You remember how fun the Open used to be?
It used to have so many carnival cars in it. Yes.
I'm thinking back to 2007 when Carl Edwards' tires were just falling off, and then all of a sudden Truex and like Johnny Sauter.
Yes, Johnny Sauter in the 70s.
And that
oh my gosh.
if you like go way back to on my Twitter, I have a video of the final laps of that race, and I'm like, this is what this used to be. This is what the All-Star race used to be, and I miss this so much.
It used to be goated.
But honestly, the Clash, I felt like the Clash kind of brought that back. And I am such a major fan of, and Taylor and I talked about this on Twitter the other day, putting the All-Star race, like the Clash, somewhere where they don't race in the regular season. And I'm telling you, put it in a stadium, make it a stadium tour, put it in a different stadium every year, Fenway Park, and
biased opinion.
Fenway Park or Harvard Stadium. Harvard Stadium would be rad because it's better equipped for something like that.
I agree with you. Put it because we've talked about this before, but put it somewhere where NASCAR doesn't conventionally race, or the topic of this week too has also been like rotated. I know drivers, Chase Elliott commented on that. I think Joey Logano commented on that. Denny Hamlin commented on it, but rotated around because it really shows who's the best of the best. This is also what I think should happen with the championship race. Might be a hot take, might not be, might be what everyone else thinks. But if you want to show who's the best of the best, if you have the championship race at the same place every year, obviously this is messing with NASCAR history, but whoever is good at that track is going to win the championship race. Most likely.
I'm thinking about like the Winter Classic in hockey. How they change it.
Yeah.
They change it to a different stadium every year. I don't see why we can't do that with the All-Star race. I like the Clash being in LA. I think starting the season in LA is a good idea. I think we should end the season in LA too, just not at the Coliseum. I think Fontana should be the finale. I've said that for a long time.
Okay.
I loved it when IndyCar, it was the finale there, but
Yes.
But IndyCar should not race at Fontana. Not now.
Yeah.
Not now. It's way too dangerous. I get scared watching them race at Texas. And
Oh, I was gonna
Indy.
say last year at Texas, I about panicked. That was scary last year.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't like them on ovals anymore. But but you know, the show we saw and I know this is kind of like veering off what we were talking about, but the racing we saw at Fontana this year, god tier. If I
so good.
If I remember correctly, that had more. Let me look this up on Racing Reference, but I'm almost certain it had more lead changes than the Daytona 500. I'm almost certain. Let me look that up real quick.
I gotta look at the race rating I gave that because I know I gave it a good rating. I think while we're looking that up too, we have we'll get back to the All-Star race format in a second, but we did get a comment I wanted to mention. Oh, did you find the answer?
Yeah, so
Go for it.
Fontana had 32 lead changes. The Daytona 500 had 35. I was thinking about Atlanta that had 46.
Atlanta was actually what was I thought that was a really good race. Hold on, I'm looking at my ratings here. Oh yeah, I gave that a high
part of
rating.
why I wanted to go to Atlanta because I'm so intrigued because I didn't really I didn't know what to think about it and I kind of just want to see it in person. I'm so intrigued.
I hated
Atlanta. But
I hated Atlanta. Oh my god. I don't know if I gave you an official rating for that one, Taylor, but I ranked it at like a 35 in my head.
I give Atlanta an 85.
I didn't like, and this is my big thing with super speedway racing in general, is the reason that the guy coming to the white flag wins most of the time now, unless he wrecks, is that everybody's trying to get to the lead, so nobody forms, any sort of draft anymore.
Right.
So they all just, every piece of momentum that somebody has just fizzles out. And I think that's why, in my opinion, we've seen better racing on the 1.5 miles than on the super speedways this year.
Yeah, let's just take a minute to recognize the 1.5 mile tracks. And this is why I have some faith in the Texas race this weekend, because they have been so darn good this season. Like, so good. And yeah.
I have such high hopes for the 600.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That and please, for the love of God, let it be a fuel mileage race. Because when when that race becomes a fuel mileage race, being somebody that was there in 2011, oh my God.
Oh,
it is insane.
Yes.
No, this will be my first time back at the track since 2019. A very new track. Oh, hello, NASCAR Taco Bell Cup Series. I have to mention that every time you pop in the chat. Nice to have you back in. But no, this is my first time back at the track since 2019. So I am in need for a good race. And it's building up to be a good one. I'm not going to give my hopes up because if I do that, I'm going to be very disappointed. So otherwise, I'm very excited. Let's go back to the All-Star format though for a second. I know there's a question on Kevin Harvick in here that I'm going to answer. I really want to. But you know what? Let's just answer it now. We'll go back to we have all this time to talk about the All-Star format. Let's just go to this Kevin Harvick question. So question is,
we're in need all that time.
Will Kevin Harvick make the playoffs without a win this year? Ooh, I'm going to wait on my response. Adam, what do you think? You're questioning it. You're thinking about it.
I think he's going to get a win.
He's inching towards one.
I think he's going to get a win, but we're also getting to that point of the season where teams have figured out their mojo. We're going to start getting some repeat winners. So I think I think he can make it without a win, but I think he's going to get in on a win.
Well, then follow-up question for you then. Where do you see him winning at, or who do you think the first repeat winner is going to be, since you brought that up? Hit you with two tough questions.
Oh, man. Yeah, what track? Pocono? Maybe? He always runs good at Pocono.
That's going to be my guess.
Michigan, I mean, we'll see. Seems to be that little summer stretch. When I think back to 2020, oh, dear God. Sorry. Had a quick moment of PTSD trying to forget the first half of that. But when we were racing, those were really strong tracks for him. I mean, I would like to see it. I hope so. I really, pulling for the old guard, the guys who were my childhood heroes who are now the wily old vets. So I think somewhere in the month of June or August or somewhere.
I see him doing well at Pocono. I hope you see Dom's comment here. Do you see it? He goes, I think Adam's completely wrong. Whatever driver he's talking about needs to go back to the Busch series.
What driver was I talking about?
Is this about Dom? Is this about Kevin Harvick?
It's got to be about Harvick.
Got to be about Harvick.
Well, C is for Busch. So
C is for Busch.
Might have been implied.
If you need to know why this happened, like I said, go back to the Above the Yellow Line, our old /main/not main channel for our live stream where we ranked the worst paint schemes. Was it that video?
I don't think it was worst. I think it was we were ranking paint schemes, and then we just made a subcategory for paint schemes that scream the old Busch series.
I will link it in the description below. I will do that after this. But to Kevin Harvick, talking about Kevin Harvick, I think his best shot at winning. I actually was going to say Pocono if he would win at any point before the playoffs. Do I think he needs a win to get into the playoffs? Where he's at points wise right now, tough to tell. I would say if he wants to secure a spot, obviously yes. But I'm also thinking Ryan Blaney hasn't had a win yet, but he's top in points without a win right now. Truex hasn't. No, Truex won, hasn't he? He hasn't won. He has not won yet. Wow, that's depressing. Okay, Truex doesn't have a win. He's right behind Blaney in points, I believe, if you're not counting drivers that have won. If we're talking about playoff standing. So I'd like to see him win. I just don't know if it's in the cards for him to win before, though his best chance is Pocono, in my opinion. Rob, do you share the same sentiment? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm trying to think of where else. I think he'll be good at Loudon. I think Loudon's another one that he'll be good at. The flat tracks, I think he'll be good at. I would say Atlanta, but Atlanta's just so different now that he can't really do his thing at Atlanta anymore. It's so tough to tell because this season, I love it, is just so unpredictable. Like I can think of, like out of nowhere, Eric Jones could win like a regular race on an intermediate. And that's just baffling to me. The late cautions fall his way and he has the momentum. He's in the right lane or whatever. That could happen. And it's kind of wild to think that and since we were talking about Pocono, I have this, and I have no, evidence to back this up, but I have this sneaky suspicion that this new car is going to thrive at Pocono.
I hope it does. If it doesn't, I'll be sad because I love that track.
Because I'm thinking about that front stretch and the run that they're going to be able to get.
Ooh,
I've got high expectations, and I think they're going to do really well there, and I think that's going to be one of those tracks that Trackhouse does really well at.
I think with your predictions there, I know Pocono obviously lost a date. Understand that. I'm hoping this can at least salvage Pocono to stay on the schedule. I know they're like 2023, the future. We're making big changes to the schedule. Pocono has to stay. That's just that I will die on that hill.
They need to stop pulling out of the Northeast. That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
Pocono, New Hampshire, and Dover all had 2 races. And as somebody that lives in the Northeast, I don't get a ton of time to go to races anymore. It's 4 a year unless I want to go down to like Richmond or something. But we have the mods, but I would like to
not like that NASCAR.
Exactly. I would like to be able to see some like top tier, Cup racing, Xfinity racing, and those are the only 2 I'm going to put in that list.
I will say, going off of this topic too, Gabe said with 11 winners halfway through the regular season, will someone with a win not make it into the playoffs? So basically ensuing we get 16 different winners. We kind of talked about this a little bit though, when we talked about Kevin Harvick and all that stuff, but do you think we're going to get the rest of the winners that we need to fill in those last 5 spots? Or, I personally see that being Reddick, Suarez, probably Jones, those being kind of wild cards, but obviously I think Truex is going to win at some point in the regular season. Blaney has to because he has to.
I'm looking to see who doesn't have a win.
Harvick, Almirola,
Christopher Bell. Bell doesn't have a win.
Gosh,
he's been running really well. He's been running well. He's been running better than Hamlin.
No, that's true, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's weird to think right there. That's a weird fact.
Yeah, if Hamlin didn't have that win, he would be
20th in points.
Yeah.
He's 20th in points without that win. Or I mean, he is with that win, but
I mean, it was promising at least to see them all run well. I guess now last weekend at Kansas, all the Toyotas kind of got it together. But then my question is, they got it together one weekend. Can we keep that for next weekend and the weekend after that? Obviously, the All-Star race doesn't necessarily matter. You want to do well, at least because we go back to Texas for the playoffs, which I think we shouldn't be doing. My opinion. Someone had to say it. But no, you want to do as well as you can, but also, you want to win the $1 million and all this stuff. But don't throw away that race. But at the same time, you got to look ahead to the next race because this one doesn't count for points. Focus your team's effort to the one that we have after that counts for points, which is the 600. It is a crown jewel. You want to do well. And then Ben, you have someone who agrees with you here. Not Ben, Rob. Ben agrees with you, saying the Northeast Mid-Atlantic, I believe, I think it's supposed to be region, has been getting killed in recent years with races falling off the schedule. It's not just NASCAR either. IndyCar lost Pocono and Richmond, never came back as planned. So.
And they lost New Hampshire. They lost Watkins Glen. Mm-hmm. He's a Boston guy, so we lost the Boston Grand Prix. And yeah, so
pain.
Big pain.
I'm looking.
IndyCar New Hampshire was really epic, but
am I allowed to say that on this?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have it marked as it's not for kids, so that'll be fine.
It wasn't. Yeah, it definitely was.
You didn't say it.
That was a wild duck.
That was.
If you're watching, I am so sorry.
It was. My parents are watching. I'm sorry.
Your parents are watching. Rob.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's what happens when. That happens when you work remote.
Folks, this is uncandid and unscripted. We have topics playing, but I
feel like Kristen Stewart on SNL. I'm never going to be
apologize, folks.
I'm never going to be asked here again.
Oh, hold on. There we go. That's the one.
Oh,
right.
Hey, this wasn't my first live stream. At least I got 2 in.
Oh wow.
Gosh. Okay. All right. Well, let's see this comment real quick. We need to get back to the All-Star race real quick, but have you talked about the NASCAR draft scenario yet? Oh, okay. So wait, hold on, Gabe. What are we ensuing here? No, not yet. Okay, we're going to talk about that at the end. I know what you're talking about, but we'll talk about it at the end. Let's go back to the All-Star race for a second. Okay, so for All-Star Open format, so another 101 in the All-Star race. So the format this year, stage 1 is 20 laps, stage 2 is 20 laps, the final stage is 10 laps for the All-Star Open. Again, these are guys that do not have a championship yet, that have not won in the 2021-2022 season, or have not won a past All-Star race, all as a full-time driver. So stage 1, the winner of that stage will advance to the main event, and they'll be basically taken out of the race. No need to damage their car anymore. Like, they're done. They're good. The winner of stage 2, same thing happens. Winner of stage 3, the final stage, 10 laps, same thing happens. So you need to win those stages to get into the All-Star event. So that's important. And then obviously we have the fan vote, which is also very important. If you don't get in or you don't win your stages, you got to rely on the fans in this point. So I guess let's go into our predictions, at least for the All-Star Open, if you guys have any. Who's winning stage 1? Who's winning stage 2? Who's winning the final stage? And who could get the fan vote? I've already given mine on this week's episode of Above Below Line, so I will go to Adam first. Do you have? I don't know if I threw this at you too soon.
No, you didn't throw it. I mean, it's the All-Star. It's the All-Star race. I don't care. Let me throw a dart.
Yeah,
Kyle Larson. I don't know.
Larson's already into the. I'm talking All-Star Open, bud.
Oh, All-Star Open. Oh, geez. Rob, you have the floor. I'm still trying to recover from that. So have at it, buddy. I'll start open.
First of all, I would like to apologize for my words. It was a horrible lapse in judgment.
You are forgiven. You are forgiven.
I will be releasing a Notes app tweet later today.
He's gonna release one of those apology videos on YouTube. You're gonna create a whole YouTube page.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the thing where I just I'm gonna put some hot sauce in my eye so it looks like I'm crying. I'm really gonna milk this thing
like a true YouTuber.
So run it back to me. So it's the 2. So just all 3 stage winners and then the fan vote, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at the entry list right now. Reddick I think is a given. Mm-hmm. I think Reddick is a given. I think Suarez gets in either via winning one of the stages or the fan vote. Looking at the guys here, and then I think I'm teetering on 3 drivers for that
So
last
teetering.
spot. Yeah, it's a really weird seesaw. Either Austin Dillon or one of the petty GMS cars.
Fair.
Because Eric Jones has been running well on
Yes.
mile and a halfs. It's really weird how Ty Dillon seems to really show up in these kind of short stint snares, because I remember him at the Clash running really well. I don't know if that translates to a mile and a half. running really well, being a weapon.
Yes, that's the term for it.
Yeah. Racing like the guys that I see before Granite State comes out. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those 3, and I'm looking. It's so unpredictable because Chris Buescher's there. I think he'll be decent. I think Corey LaJoie could come out of nowhere and win the fan vote.
I think he might be. I mean, was it? I think Texas Motor Speedway released something on Twitter that was like, here are our top guys in the fan votes, and LaJoie was in that. He was like, I don't know if it was like in order of who had that many votes, but at least he was listed 3rd, I think. Like I said, I don't know.
He's got a following. He's a personality.
Stacking pennies.
Stacking pennies.
He's racing with us in July, so I'm really pumped for that.
Oh,
him and Reddick.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love Reddick.
Yeah, him and Reddick.
Love the guy. Well, Adam, who do you did Rob take some of your picks, or do you got different? More or less.
More or less. Definitely Reddick. I think he'll get in on a win. If he doesn't, he'll get the fan vote.
Yeah, so my hot take on Reddick is I do not think he's going to get in on a win. I think there's going to be guys that are hungrier than him that are willing to do whatever it takes. Stenhouse in particular, probably. To win their way into the main event. I think Reddick could win the fan vote. I see winning their way in Suarez. He's pretty decent at Texas. I obviously think Austin Dillon, he's won at Texas before. So out of all those guys, I think he's a given. Who else? Jones, like Rob mentioned, a really good contender. He's been running really well. Who else did I say in my? I don't know.
I didn't realize, but Justin Haley's in this race too.
Yeah, no, he would be an interesting pick as well.
And he's again Darlington 3rd place out of nowhere.
Which is nuts. But I think what's interesting about the All-Star Open this year is there are no givens. There is not a certain person who is bound to win that fan vote. There is no certain person who I think outperforms the other. I mean, obviously Reddick could be a choice. He's not one of my choices who could automatically win his way in stage 1, but it's interesting this year because, like I said, there are no givens. There are no guarantees. So I think at least that gives the All-Star Open a little bit more intrigue. Going into the main event, though, this is where things get a little nutty. And I'll breeze through this. But again, this will be one of those things where you just watch the All-Star race if you're going to watch it, and you learn as you go. Last year, that's how it had to happen. And even then, nobody knew what the crap was happening at all.
Can I give a dark horse for the Open?
Please, go ahead.
Watch out for Cole Custer.
Everyone sleeps on Cole Custer.
Good point.
Yes.
It's a good point.
That's my one. That's the one thing I'll make him my 4th guy to get it. So there. Go ahead.
He just had the bad luck at Stuart Haas. I think there's times where he's really shown through, and then there's other times where he's just kind of been in the background. And I think he has the capability to run well. I just don't know what it's going to take to have him be consistent like his teammates are. Briscoe's kind of fallen off a little bit the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think. So.
Yeah, I honestly, from what I've seen because last year I was like, I don't think Cole should be in the.
I was with you.
41, but obviously, he's talented.
Yeah.
But there's another reason he's in the car, as well. So he's not leaving it anytime soon. But this year I'm like, he belongs in that car.
He's put together good numbers. There was one race.
I mean, Bristol Dirty won the pole.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
I think he had some sort of issue. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
he overheated. He overheated around the first few laps, went into pit road.
Oh,
and
that's
then NASCAR
right.
was
That's
like,
right.
the NASCAR was like, yeah, let's just throw a caution for everybody. But Cole, since you were the first one to have the issue, you don't get any sort of forgiveness from us. You lose a lap. And it was
Yeah,
just
he really got screwed on that one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but he could potentially race his way in. So let's not forget about him for the main event. So stages 1, 2, and 3 are all 25 laps. The stage 1 winner starts on the pole for the final stage. The stage 2 winner starts second in the final stage. That's all we need to worry about at this point. That's the simplest explanation I can give. Then between stages 2 and 3 is the pit stop challenge. And this is like each team makes a mandatory stop. Fastest 4-tire stop wins. Your team wins the pit crew challenge. How exciting is that? First off, I will like to say I am very appreciative of the fact that we're not doing green flag stops to determine that like we did last year. That was a mess. Should have never happened. And then we go back to the final stage, and the final stage, obviously, the winner of the pit stop challenge will start 4th. The winner of stage 3 will start 3rd. It's all confusing. But then the final stage, the most simplest explanation I can give is if you win the final stage, you win the $1 million. So that's all we really have to actually worry about for the All-Star Open. It's 25 laps, 25 laps, 25 laps, 50 laps. Winner wins $1 million. That's all I can say. But now I guess we've talked about the pit stop challenge already, so we won't go into that. But let's choose our winners. Who do we think is going to win the $1 million? Adam, you said Larson earlier.
I did, but I'm going to go back on that.
Okay, backtrack. Let's backtrack.
I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to go with Toyota. I think Kyle Busch is going to get $1 million.
Ooh, really?
I think Kyle Busch. He seems to be focused and charged. He's got a lot of people talking against him. When Rowdy gets voices outside of his head, he buckles down and he hammers like a you know what.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for a little KFB, Rowdy Nation.
See, I think he's going to win the pit stop challenge because he actually just broke a NASCAR record. He has the first pit stop, I believe, or at least with like this new tire that was under 9 seconds, I think.
I did not know that. That's oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so impressive. Anybody watching F1 right now is probably like, come on.
That's nothing.
We had to lose a tire nut.
Because I was writing the show this week and I was trying to make my predictions, and literally after the race at Kansas, it was posted that Kyle Busch beat his previous record of beating the record for the fastest pit stop. So I think if they don't make any mistakes, they're going to win it, in my opinion. They have it down. At least their team has always been really good at pit stops. So I see them being the front runners for this. Obviously, worse can happen, so we don't know. But Rob, who do you think is going to win the $1 million?
Honestly, I agree with Adam. I think Kyle Busch is definitely one of the front runners.
You
but
guys, no.
But I would not rule out Ross Chastain.
Thank you.
I think it'll come down to him and Kyle Busch.
I think here's why I say Ross Chastain will win. First off, multi-winner this season. So that's already says that. He has one of the best average finishes so far this season. He is consistent. He's also, ladies and gents, willing to do what it takes to win. And we've seen it on occasion. Kyle Busch, he is as well, but the rowdiness, I feel like, is not as rowdy this season so far. So I think Ross Chastain will win the $1 million. And if he doesn't, I will be disappointed because it's what I'm expecting going into it. So let's see. What do you guys think? Gabe thinks that Chastain will win. Although I won't count out Larson. He's won the last 2 All-Star races he was in. That's also very fair. He's obviously not in the 2020 All-Star race, but going forward
in 2019.
Yeah, which is crazy. Chicken nasty equipment. NASCAR Taco Bell Cup Series said it's either Larson, Elliott, Busch, Truex, dark horse being Logano. That's a lot of picks. That's
really
a lot of
narrows
picks.
it down.
Yeah, that's a little
Covering
cheating
all
there.
the bases.
Dom said, Dom joining the chat. All-Star race comes down to Chevrolet and Toyota. Bowman and Kyle Busch will battle for the win. Ooh, Bowman, interesting. They'll crash. Oh, give me Kevin Harvick. There we go. There's a little bit of spice in there. And then also going to race his way in. Kylito, I hope I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Says Eric Jones stands out to me as a guy who will likely race his way into the main event, talking about the All-Star Open to the main event. So yeah, like interesting picks for you guys. Interesting picks. I think we'll end the stream talking about where Gabe, you mentioned this. I want to put this comment up there. Okay. The NASCAR draft scenario. There was a comment on Twitter. I don't know who made this. I don't know if it was actually the NASCAR. No, this was the actual NASCAR app. I think it's like account. That's what I meant. if there was a draft, who would be the first person you would draft on your team out of all the NASCAR drivers? I thought it was an interesting question to kind of ponder, and if we kind of created our own teams, I think that'd be kind of cool too to end in the chat on. Obviously, you guys can put it in the chat as well what your teams would be, who you would have as your first draft. I'll go first because I mean I've already talked about this guy, so it's pretty obvious. Ross Chastain is my first pick. Like I said, most consistent guy, willing to do what it takes to win. He's young in the sport, lots of learning to do still. I know. Also has one heck of a really good victory celebration with the watermelon. I think he's likable by the fans, and so far showing success. So I think he would be my first draft pick. Rob, if you were to have a first draft pick on your NASCAR team, who would be on your team?
Well, you already took Ross Chastain.
Ha!
So,
I win.
oh man, that's honestly with Ross being out, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'd go with Joey Logano.
Really?
Because he's in such a I still feel like he's in such a special position to where he's kind of considered an elder statesman, but he's still young. He's still really young. He still has a lot of years left, and we know he'll do anything to win. He's got, and you know, we'll take personality into it too. He's got the personality off the track. Like he's a really likable guy.
He is.
And you know he's gonna, you know, he's kind of Jekyll and Hyde on the between, you know, off the track and on the track. And you just like, even though he might not win every week, like there has to be at least one year where he's had the most wins, but you know he's gonna probably rack off at least 2 or 3 a year, and he'll probably have a solid average finish.
That's valid.
So it's probably a safe pick, but yeah.
Adam, who would be your first draft pick?
You already know who I'm going with.
Do I?
My man, Ryan Blaney.
Yes. We love it. Man, you took the draft pick from me. I hate that. Anything to back it up, or just because we love him?
1, love. 2, love. You can't. Love conquers all, y'all.
It's true. It's valid. Let's see.
No truer words have been spoken. I need a T-shirt that says that. Love conquers all, y'all.
With the y'all on it.
I might have to. We might have to talk about a collab on that with the store.
You know, I got you.
Hey, let's get it. No, I like it. Blaney, he's consistent. His pit crew has been screwing him all year, though. So
I know.
Once again, he's a great driver. He's always performance-wise, he's great.
He's gonna win. He'll win soon. I know.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with him and Elliott too. But Ben said, surprised no one said Cindric, a fender away from being a double Xfinity champ. I know, and only 23 years old, which it's impressive. I think, for me at least, I'm just counting the Cup Series though, what they've done in the Cup Series so far, which I think is not fair. But I will say for the draft, if we were going to draft things out, I had an idea for this, you guys. So bear with me. So if we're making our own Cup teams, we get 1 veteran driver, 2 guys that are not veterans or under the age of 30, and then 1 driver who is not currently in the Cup Series to form our 4-car team. So if we're trying to think about this, I think I got one of my guys under 30. None of us have veterans really. Would we consider Joey Logano a vet?
Joey Logano is a veteran.
Okay.
If we're considering over 30 a veteran, then yeah.
All right. So let's go around again and let's pick. I'll do a veteran. You guys haven't said it, so I'm going to. Kyle Busch. He's mine.
Okay, I'm gonna take.
He's on my perfect team.
I'm gonna take one of my under 20s, William Byron.
Take it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna make a lot of people angry. I think William Byron's better than Chase Elliott. At least this year.
All the Elliott fans are going to come for you.
Oh my God! There's a pitchfork and a torch outside. They're revolting.
Oh, here they come.
Oh my God!
Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a DM from the Dawsonville pool room today.
Yeah, they're like, we are going to be at your house.
I'm gonna get some threats and be like, "Don't you come to Atlanta."
But oh my God, yeah.
But hear me out here. How many wins should William Byron have this year?
Valid.
Probably
He had a
4 or
winning car.
5.
He had a winning car at Kansas. He should have won Darlington.
It's true.
I'm
Yeah.
trying. There's been more.
His last
Richmond-
year's stats alone too, with those
Richmond.
11 top 10 finishes, that
Yeah,
streak
he's
that he had
just-
last year.
He's like the poster child for don't give up on a driver.
Yeah,
Because his first couple of years, like especially the first year and a half,
questionable.
it was like, why the 24 didn't look like the 24.
Mhm.
But like halfway through 2019, he started to figure it out, and I remember him finishing second at Martinsville, and I was like, oh, this kid's got it.
Yeah,
And yeah, so again, longevity. I think he's got a long career in the Cup Series.
Now, Adam, who is your next driver?
So do I have Blaney still on my team?
Yeah, Blaney's on your team. Blaney's
Okay.
yours.
Am I going with the under 30 crowd for this one?
You
Is that
do
it?
whatever
All right.
you do whatever
Ken.
you want. If there's a guy you really want to get right now, grab him.
Ah, you do you, boo. Okay. Tyler Reddick.
See, that's what who said that? Dom said that.
Yeah.
Did Dom
Yeah.
say that? Yeah. Let's see. You two always agreeing. Tyler Reddick. That's a good pick.
Bush. Well, we like to flock to our Bush guys.
We love.
We do
We need
love
to
our.
stop. We have to stop with the Bush series. Oh my god. Okay, go ahead.
I would just like to clarify something. I mean, William Byron is better than Chase Elliott this year.
Okay, go ahead.
I
So they're not
understand-
gonna totally try to kill you.
I understand that Chase Elliott has won a championship. I understand.
Valid.
But
Valid.
this year, and honestly for the last 2 years, I just think Byron's been a more consistent driver.
I mean, I'm gonna agree with you.
That's not to say
too.
that's not to say that Elliott's bad. It's like people came after me in earlier in the year when I said that Bowman wasn't the weak link
Oh my gosh, I
at
remember
Hendrick,
that.
and I was like, I didn't even
Automatically assumed.
I didn't
the
even
worst.
say Elliott was the weak link. But it's like I was like, it's Hendrick Motorsports. There is no weak link.
There
No.
is none, which
That's
is what
that-
makes
that
that
was the point
organization
I was trying to make.
unbeatable.
Yeah,
Yeah, the organization into the foreseeable future. I mean, watch
Oh,
out.
the future is bright. The future is bright with those guys.
Yeah, Elliott signed on until 2027, or like through that season. I think Byron is signed on until through 2025, and then Larson and Bowman, who I'm sure are going to get contract extensions, are
Yeah.
until the end of 2023. They're unbeatable at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a veteran driver, guy under 30. You know
There's one-
what? I'm gonna choose. Wait, were you gonna give me a suggestion?
No.
Okay.
No. Make your pick. Make your pick.
Oh, part of me wants to say Eric Jones, but I think I'm gonna go with the guy who replaced him at Joe Gibbs Racing. I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell.
It's a good pick.
I think he's a solid pick. Still needs to develop a little bit, but he's obviously a really good young talent. Has put in really good results in that car. Obviously, won in his first time in the 20 car. Not for his first time, but his first season in the 20 car last year at the road course. Didn't expect that. I will say I spoke really poorly about him being in that car, so I apologize. But I think he would be my next guy under 30 that I would choose. And then all I have left is my person outside of the Cup Series. But let's see. Rob, I think you pick next. Who's your guy?
Thank you so much for leaving Kyle Larson on the table.
Oh my god.
Kyle Larson.
No!
All I'm thinking is I was like, man, none of us have said Larson yet. And this is just assuming that last year wasn't a fluke. And like he's another one that should have multiple wins this year already.
That is so true. Yeah. He's had like
and-
that sophomore slump.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where all of a sudden like last year, he's all of a sudden gonna knock off, because I think at this point last year he only had one win and then he rolled off like 3 in a row, and I would not be surprised if that happened again.
It'll happen. See, Adam, who do you have left?
Time to go for the old silver-haired folks.
Oh yeah. Time to go for that.
Give me MTJ, Martin Truex Jr.
Good pick.
It's a good pick.
Good pick.
Good pick.
Do you
Remember
think
watching his rookie year in the Busch Series, nonetheless being a 2-time champion. So now my team has 4 champions in the Busch Series.
Oh, look at
And-
that.
And a pretty respectable young, handsome fellow in the old number 12 Menards Ford Mustang. So I think we're doing pretty good. Now, the next pick is going to be really interesting because there is a giant pool of drivers, not only in NASCAR, but can this one be unrestricted to any forms of racing?
You know what? Why not? Let's make it festive and
Ooh,
fun up in
yes,
here.
Yes.
Like a wild
Any form of
card.
racing.
Yes.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Adam, I'm going to let you go first on this one,
Oh,
actually.
Going
Oh,
reverse
Oh,
darn.
oh, no. I can go first. Do you want me to go first?
Well,
I can do it.
I don't know who else. Who else is? Do we all just have to
I
pick
think we
wild
all
cards?
I think we all
We all
have
have-
our wild cards now.
Let's go in order then.
That works. That honestly worked out perfect.
Okay. Well, so like, are we actually discussing like any driver in any
Any driver.
series?
You get
Any driver.
one
Let's get-
driver from
let's-
any
Well, do we wanna-
discipline series, and
do
then
we-
you get to develop them.
Do you want to add a thing, and we'll do driver outside of the Xfinity or outside of the Cup Series, but still in NASCAR for this, and then we'll do one more round where it's any
Let's do it.
any discipline. Okay.
Yes,
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, so let's just do starting off with our guys who are still in the NASCAR Circuit Xfinity Series, our truck. Oh, got it. Okay, so not a full-time driver right now. Right? I think so. Priest. I'm taking Ryan Priest.
Damn it!
It was
Dang
it
it.
your pick?
Dang it! Yeah, he was my pick.
Love it.
You took my modified guy.
He can do it
Oh,
all, folks. He
dang
can
it.
do it all. He's my pick. So now you need to figure something else out.
Adam, go. I have to rethink this.
Oh, we're trading. All right, we'll trade this spot. All right, I gotta go. It's easy. I have to go with a fellow alumni from Coastal Carolina, Brandon Brown.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Yes, Brandon Brown.
Look at that.
Good guy.
I'm curious.
Good
What's
guy.
your reasoning? What's your reasoning? Just because?
CINO. Coastal is number one. Shant's up. Let's go.
Carolina runs through your
Yes.
runs through your
Look,
veins.
the state of South Carolina bleeds teal. We are not a Gamecock state. We are not a Clemson Tiger state. The Chanticleers run the state.
Their
And
colors.
that's the bottom line because I said so.
I'll say that blue is gorgeous. I know a
It
couple of
is.
people that went to Coastal Carolina.
Oh, dang, that's cool.
Yeah, I think one of them actually pseudo knew Brandon. I can't remember.
Oh, nice.
I was friends with a couple of his fraternity brothers,
Mhm.
but that was
You're-
kind of yeah.
Such a celebrity, Adam. Such a
I know
celebrity.
people. I know people. I can't help it.
Man,
All right,
I
Rob. Who you got?
2016.
Hmm. I'm trying to think of guys because I'm only thinking of the Xfinity series. I honestly don't want anybody from the Truck Series in.
Ew.
I can't. I
Just go. Ew.
I can't think of
That's
anybody
not
from
for
the
you,
Truck.
Rob. I'm sorry.
Except for John Hunter Nemechek, no one else is really just like.
Ooh.
Yeah,
you
John
know?
John Hunter would be a big pick. Honestly, if I'm really thinking of A, personality, and B, performance on the track, I think it has to be Noah Gragson.
He's that's valid, actually.
Yeah, I would probably either go with him or Josh Berry, but Josh Berry's he's a little old.
Yeah, that's valid.
He's not old, but like for the scenario that we're
Dealing with.
creating, he's old. He probably won't be a full-time Cup driver one
No.
day. He might be part-time at some point, but I don't know if he'll ever be a full-time Cup driver.
I think you're good with that choice of Noah Gragson, though. So let's finish this out by I want to go through the comments too and read off your picks because I love doing that. But let's give our picks for just any racing series anywhere in the world. Who we would pick in our draft if we were to just have like a fifth car running sometimes. I guess it's me going first. Great question. Okay. I don't want to be that basic person, but I feel like I got to go with someone from F1. Part of me wants to go with Lewis Hamilton or someone, or maybe someone. You know what? Because I love this guy and I feel like he needs to be in NASCAR at some point. I'm going with Danny Rick. Danny Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a good
yes.
guy. What a guy. I love Danny Rick.
We love him. So because I love him, and also because I mean he's good, he's talented, and he's also, I feel like, needs to be in NASCAR at some point.
He needs to be in America and race, even if it's not NASCAR.
He does.
IndyCar, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the obvious, pick outside of NASCAR right now is the guy that was in NASCAR for so many years, but I'm not going to pick him because he's about to retire, in the next couple of years probably. So I'm not going to pick him, but I am going to go with my guy who used to be an F1 driver. He's not anymore. I'm going to go with my guy, Romain Grosjean.
Yes.
I love Grosjean ever since. I watched him a little bit in F1. I only started watching F1 in 2020, so I didn't see much of him racing except for that horrific accident. But I watched a lot of him in IndyCar last year, and
he's impressive.
He is the definition of an aggressive driver, but just with so much finesse. He's like Takuma Sato, and who is also one of my favorite IndyCar drivers. I just like somebody that can send it into a corner, but I can't even explain it because I've seen super late model drivers that can do it too, and there's just this arc where it's you might bump into somebody at one point, but that's not the intention. Like I'm thinking about when he and Jimmy Johnson had their little bump, but again I was like, that had finesse to it, like
exactly.
And that was kind of the thing that bothered me about the IndyCar broadcast on Saturday was that somebody, I think it was Hinch, that said these IndyCar drivers are now trying to race Grosjean like he races them, and I'm like, the minute you do that, you're just being a reckless driver. If that's not your driving style and you're trying to change your driving style to mirror somebody, that's not going to work. You're just being reckless at that point. It's just this next level thing. And yeah, I love Grosjean.
I do like him as well. So your team's complete now. You got, let's see, Logano, Byron, Larson, and I forgot the fourth guy.
Gregson.
Thank you, Gregson.
A lot of Chevys.
And then Grosjean. I know. I think I'm shocked I had so many Toyotas. I had Chastain, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell. I also had Ryan Preece, and then who did I have? Who was my guy outside the Cup Series? Remind me, folks.
Oh, Ricciardo.
Thank you, Daniel Ricciardo. How could I forget? All right, so that's my lineup. Adam, close us out here. Who's your lineup?
Well, there's a IndyCar driver by the name of Jimmy Johnson.
That is true.
Yeah. But no, I'm going to go with Du bist Weltmeister Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, smart.
Yes, okay. Sebastian Vettel.
I love Seb.
He's in the twilight of his F1 career. Let's bring him here because he's got a real good technical insight on racing cars. So yeah.
How old is he? Let's see how old he is, because he can't be that. He can't be that old.
It's scary. I looked that stat up a few days ago. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but
he's 34.
Oh wow!
So he's got a number of years left, and honestly, I don't know if he has another F1 win in his career, but I think he could I think he could win an IndyCar.
Oh yeah, by far,
easily.
Yeah,
easily. All right, so let's read your comments before I make some announcements real quick. One's exciting, one is also exciting. So we'll get to your comments real quick. All right, so let's see. Kylito in their lineup, they say Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Eric Jones, and Brett Moffitt. We're excluding the extra pick that we added a little late. That's a good lineup. I think Brett Moffitt is actually a good pick that I did not think of. Let's see. MW Roner said that your team is Joey Logano, Cody Ware, Ty Dillon, and Brandon Brown. Interesting. Okay, I'm not opposed to that. Not opposed. Let's see. Gabe, did you backing up Chase Elliott there? That's fine. Let's see. Who else? Who else do we got here? You all put in a ton of drivers. Oh, Hinchcliffe was one that I'm surprised none of us mentioned, actually. Dom said Verstappen. Let's see. I think that was it. Oh, wait, no. Gabe, you said your team. Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, John Hunter Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson. So we have one for Jimmy Johnson in there. Thank you, Gabe. We love Jimmy.
Also, none of us said Ty Gibbs.
No, which is insane. I personally, for me,
I don't trust
he's
him.
very talented, but I don't.
Do not agree with him.
No. Very talented, but just needs to mature a little bit of a lot.
A lot.
Just
He needs to actually, for sure.
All right, so let's see. I think that's it, you guys. So thanks for joining the stream. Let's actually make the announcements right now. So of course, as always, follow us on social media. Adam, what is your social media for the folks to follow you at?
You guys can give me a follow on Twitter at alucas9166.
And then Rob, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at onbrand. That's brand with 2 N's.
Very fancy, very fancy. For Above the Yellow Line, you can follow us at Above the Yellow Line on YouTube and Instagram. That's what that logo is. And then obviously Twitter, kind of where I'm home based at. It's at _Taylor Kitchen _. And then obviously make sure you follow us, like, subscribe, all the sort of fun stuff to us on YouTube. Toby Christie Com. Also want to thank our partners for this video, SRI Performance, PFC Brakes, DoorDash, and Rhino.co for supporting the Toby Christie channel and Above the Yellow Line. And finally, the last announcement, which I'm very excited about. You guys have been asking for this since I started the web series. So with this finally happening, we are on all podcasting platforms as of right now. So all of our backlog episodes for this season of Above the Yellow Line, Spotify, Anchor, Audible, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you find your podcast, that's where we are. So if you're on the road and you're like, I don't want to have YouTube open, you can now find us on those platforms. Thank you for Toby for setting this up. We both went through that and did that yesterday. So thanks, Toby, so much for doing that. But yeah, thanks so much for joining the stream. Check us out on those platforms. Check out Adam and Robin. Obviously, Dom Joseph's handle is at DomJoseph22. I believe I'll link it in the description below if I'm wrong. But thank you all so much for joining this live stream of Above the Yellow Line. We'll see you next week, I believe Thursday, live from the track with Adam and Dom. But thank you guys so much. And until next time, we'll see ya. Bye, guys.